When it comes to football, we live in an instant gratification world. It's a very now culture right now. And our sports media tends to play into that. They like to slam down the throttle on the hype pedal. They like to ask a lot of questions of the people who are struggling. We tend to remember the last thing we saw, and we tend to forget a lot of the struggles people went through in the past, as long as they got to where they were going. Living in this moment works against Tua Tagovailoa, when in fact, he's precisely on schedule for where he should be. For a number of years, we have lived by a rule when it comes to quarterback expectations, and that's mental traits take time. Physical traits translate immediately. And this isn't a rule that's reinventing the wheel. There are a lot of people who say the same thing in their own ways across the entire industry of football. And that's really what you're looking at with Tua Tagovailoa at this point in time. When Tua came out in the draft, there was not one single trait where he graded elite. Not one. This was a composite quarterback. This was a composite quarterback grade where everything was average and most things were above or very good. That is what made up Tua, and that's why he was such a high-ranking prospect. But when you don't have an elite trait to hang your hat on, the transition to the NFL is a very difficult transition. This is why on October 23rd, we released a video saying going to Tua too soon. In no way, shape, or form, when you look at the profile of who Tua was, should he have been on the field in his first year. We actually advocated that you give him 2 cupcakes to get his feet wet against the Jets and against the Bengals, and then go right back to Ryan Fitzpatrick and let him play out the rest of this year. He had earned it, and Tua wasn't going to be ready for 2020. The reason for that expectation is very simple. There's been one quarterback in the last 5 years who's come into the league with the mental traits so far advanced that he was ready to compete at the NFL level. His name is Joe Burrow. But every other quarterback that has had a high level of success right off the jump has typically had physical traits to lean back on. You need athleticism that will give you the time back that your mind wastes because it doesn't have the system mastered. You need the arm talent to be able to dissect a defense that you're reading slightly behind. This is how the transition to the NFL works for a quarterback. Just look at 2018. The 2018 class, where do we have them sitting right now? Well, Rosen fell off a cliff. But other than that, we had Baker in year 1, who was our favorite quarterback. And then Lamar came in and used his running ability to have a great end to his first season, and Lamar was our favorite quarterback. This continued into 2019, where Lamar won MVP and Baker faded into oblivion. But Josh Allen started to rise up the ranks. And then the next year, Lamar drops back a little bit, Baker steps back forward, but Josh Allen is at the top of the list. This means that with the 2018 class, who's only played 3 seasons, all 4 out of the 5 teams can make a case that they won the quarterback draft at some moment in time. So if right now it's Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert and you're coming in third, it doesn't stay that way very often. You can look at the quarterbacks from recent years. Josh Allen was terrible when he stepped on the field. Jared Goff was terrible when he stepped on the field. Mitchell Trubisky was a joke when he stepped on the field. And Dwayne Haskins was brutal his first year as well. And you really don't want to be compared to Josh Rosen, Dwayne Haskins, and Mitchell Trubisky when they started their career. But let's look at 2 quarterbacks who have a similar situation to the start of their career. Ben Roethlisberger and Russell Wilson. Both young quarterbacks came into the league and started right away. They were overmatched in their first couple years. Now, why are these 2 so similar to Tua? Because they were on winning football teams. Right off the bat, Seattle was going to go with Matt Flynn, but Russell Wilson put that news to bed. Ben Roethlisberger came in right away, but both quarterbacks came into this league starting on a team that expected to win games. Both quarterbacks had the training wheels put on them. They had a balanced offense. They did a lot to simplify the offense and take things off their plate. Both Ben Roethlisberger and Russell Wilson were on winning teams. And the results that you see from Ben Roethlisberger in his first 2 years and Russell Wilson in his first 3 years are incredibly similar to the numbers that Tua Tagovailoa put up in his first season. Adjusting to the mental side of the NFL is a heck of a learning curve. It's not easy. And a lot of these young quarterbacks who are succeeding right off the bat have these physical traits with the big arm talent, with the great athleticism to salvage the day. Even Russell had that athleticism right off the bat to save the day. But the numbers in the first couple years had the training wheels put on them. They didn't really open it up. Russ didn't cook until year 4, started to show it in the middle of year 2 at one point in time. Ben already had a Super Bowl ring on his hand before they even opened up the offense for him. And the first time they did, he turned the ball over 30 times in a season. The fact of the matter is that 20 years ago, putting a rookie quarterback on the field and opening the system up would have been unthinkable. They make too many mistakes. It's going to get a coach fired. It's going to look bad. Now we put them on the field immediately and deal with the consequences of it. But that's no place to judge them from, because that's the mental adjustment of the game. So what does this mean for the Dolphins going forward? Well, you have 2 paths. Path 1, trade for Deshaun Watson. It makes sense. He's a phenomenal elite level quarterback, and Tua is unlikely to ever reach that level of heights. Path 2, Tua. Without blinking an eye, go ahead with your plans with Tua. When Tua came out, we made it very clear. This is a Ferrari. This is a dissector. He's a surgeon. This is a quarterback who needs to master the offense, have the protection, and the better the weapons you put around him, the more pretty the offense will get. He is one of those middle-of-the-road quarterbacks that as you amp up the talent around him, he will make more use of it than your typical quarterback. He has the arm talent. He has the ball placement. That when your weapons can make something positive on the field, he will make the most of it. He is not a creator. He does not make for himself. He takes what the defense gives you. And when you put a quarterback in the early stage of his career in an offense that doesn't have a lot of separation, in an offense that he hasn't mastered, that's not going to be as successful. But as it goes down the road, as the weapons increase, that's when you start to see those high-level gains. Tua Tagovailoa, the way he is profiled, the way he looks as a prospect, he's Matt Ryan. He's Matt Ryan. Now go look at the first 2 years of Matt Ryan's career. Let me say that one more time. He's Matt Ryan. So if you do go for Deshaun Watson, San Francisco, look at whoever gets Tua, because that's your guy. But what Matt Ryan is he's an amplifier. When the weapons are good, he makes them better. When the offensive line has good protection, he makes the offense better. Matt Ryan doesn't make chicken salad out of chicken. Matt Ryan maximizes. So while it isn't now, you don't have to finish first. You can finish best. And as your offensive line gels together, as your weapons increase in this offense, and as Tua masters it, if the offense is high quality, Tua is going to turn into a surgeon. The early part of a quarterback's career is defined by the tools that they have to survive the chaos of adjusting to the NFL. Mental traits take time. Miami, that's where you are. Don't write off your quarterback at all. Don't even blink. If anybody's killing your quarterback, say Deshaun Watson is the only quarterback I'd rather have right now. Okay, there are other quarterbacks you'd rather have, but those guys, I don't think they're coming available. Even Russell Wilson at 33 is a questionable ad versus having Tua for the next 12 years. So if the Dolphins keep building their team properly, and they've done a very good job as far as loading talent or loading value and settling the cap properly, then this is pointing in the right direction for Tua. It's not supposed to be year 1. He wasn't even supposed to play year 1. But year 2, year 3 are where you were supposed to see the mastery and him taking the steps forward to show who he truly is. You won't know who Tua truly is until his 3rd year. But that 3rd year with a solid surrounding cast will be really pretty. So to cap the video the way we started, Tua Tagovailoa is precisely on schedule. Give him the time he needs. I love you guys. We need you. Stay strong, and I'll see you on the other side.